So spring is almost here.
Yes.
So does that mean we change our budget every year?
I don't know, does it?
If you're new to our channel, I'm Julia.
And I'm Aaron.
And we are the Canny Couple. And we are a small homestead family in rural Southwest Virginia that work every single day on merging homesteading and frugality, reducing our dependencies on outside sources. We look at changing just 0.001% as progress.
Correct.
Anything to reduce our dependencies. And we want to talk about budgeting because budgeting is one of the key things we have done that has led to our successes that have gotten us 100% debt free and have allowed me to come home full time to help raise our child and also work on our side hustles.
Yes.
And so, big question, does our budget change?
No.
No. Okay. I'm sorry. We're going to uncomplicate it for you.
Yeah. So, you know, if you think about, okay, let's say in the wintertime, your electric bill's more. Okay. How about in the spring, you have more money you're spending on the homestead, more plants you're buying, more seeds or trees or etc. You know, how do you take that into consideration?
So what we do is we look at it on an annual average and our highest month in that category. What is the highest amount we're going to pay?
Right.
And then that's going to be our top budget. Our goal is to always shoot underneath that. The reason we want to shoot under that is because that creates more margin. Margin if you need to pay off credit card, if you're going to put more towards your mortgage, whatever you're looking at your goals, that's what that margin's for. For us, it's more towards our goals in short term and long term.
Yep.
But for us, we do a weekly budget meeting every single week. We get together, we talk about the budget, where we are, what we have spent every single Sunday. We've been doing really well. It's kept us really on point. It's really kept our spending. We've had no impulse purchases. None since we started doing this.
I mean, there's some things I would like, but those go on my wish list.
Same thing. I'm looking for a stand to go in our bathroom, and it's on the wish list until I have some room in the budget for it. But for me to sit down and have like a monthly budget meeting where we're setting our monthly budget I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
That's too complicated.
It is.
And I can see where that would turn a lot of people off from budgeting.
Right, because, okay, well, here's my electric bill. Okay, well, it's $250 in the winter and $50 in the spring. Okay, now how do you figure that up in between?
Yeah, it's just one of those things where for us it doesn't make sense. We don't want to have to spend that much extra time on our budget meetings. We meet 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Now I will go through, make sure everything's up to date, go through all of our sinking funds to have new balances, anything like that. So when we do look at it, we can get a holistic approach. So that does take me a little extra time. It's not something that everybody has to do. It's something I just like to see progress.
Yes, he's wanting to see how much have we saved, how much have we spent. We're comparing those numbers. The other thing that allows us to budget this way is definitely our sinking funds. Sinking funds are key here. Those expenses, you know, happen every single year.
Yes. Good example, house insurance. Taxes. Those we go into a special sinking fund that what we do is we take the amount that it costs for all of these throughout the year and divide that by 12 and see how much we need to be putting over there every month to take care of it. Now, I will say, you know, we probably actually put a little more than it is because
we like that padded.
And because
taxes can go up. And insurance.
I was going to say, everybody's been talking about how much their house insurance or car insurance has went up. It's something I've been hearing from multiple people lately.
Well, we had a big jump 2 years ago.
We did.
We had a really big jump. What was it, like 13% or something?
Right.
It was a big jump.
Whenever they do tax reassessments of your property value, everybody's been talking about how much, you know, those percentages are going up. So,
doubling.
Right. So I mean, from our perspective, we've probably had a few things extra that went in that sinking fund to begin with, and we removed them, you know, by cutting stuff. But we didn't take away putting that money in the sinking fund, which has sort of padded us in that area.
Yeah, I like that padding, and that's the other thing I look at. I want margin in my budget. I want room to be able to grow. And I understand a lot of people do not have that luxury, but let me tell you all something. We live very, very low on our means.
Yes.
Very low below our means. So we live on a very low, tight budget. And a lot of people would look at us and say, there's just no way. You all are debt free. You all have to go. We live very much below our means. And we do that, and we like to see that margin in our budget because it's savings for our goals. It's our whole thing is to reach our goals faster.
So let's talk about how we do, like, you said our miscellaneous, like for our grocery, for example. Let's say that'd be a good example. So, we have a $300 a month budget for groceries.
Yes.
Okay. So our goal for that is to hit $300 average over 12 months.
Yep.
Now, there's two categories now we do a little different, and that is electricity and probably gas. That's how we do different. With those, we look at our highest month.
Yes.
And then say that is our budget and try to always be below.
Yeah, so we've never really hit our gas budget.
No,
never.
Yeah,
we've always kept it high because when we do plan to go travel, we do plan to go more places. It just hasn't happened, but the goal is just, it's going to happen.
But our electricity, those winter months when it hits,
we actually had to increase our electric bill this year. Remember, it was $200 before. We had to increase it to $250.
We did here a couple of years back, yeah. So, I mean, it's something that,
we're constantly having to evaluate.
We know those months in the winter that it's going to be more. But now in the spring, when we have, $70, $80, $100 bills that, that's savings that we, put away.
Yep, that's extra savings. So we're looking at the average, but we definitely make sure we can meet those categories with our budget. And even when we go bare bones budget, we're going off that higher number, not the lower or a median. I want to make sure that I hesitate to do a median, like an average, to say you're 200 one month, 50 another. If you decide to do 100,
if you're not putting that away somewhere,
you're not setting that aside.
Yeah.
So I like to make sure I have enough to cover that, and that's every month. It's set at $250. We have enough to cover that $250.
Exactly. So we make sure we're never short in those areas.
Absolutely. And that's just part of our budget. And one of the things we've actually been doing, Erin's been coding our sinking funds so we can see them, like looking at them. And it's helped quite a bit.
It has. And
it's just something we had not done before. But when we look at our budget, especially now that we're doing these weekly meetings, it's like we kind of need to see what's a sinking fund and what's not.
Right. So we've color coded those. I've added percentages on so we can see it from a percent standpoint. Stuff like that sort of shows it more statistical way.
Yeah. And if we have individual purchases we want, that's where our miscellaneous section of our budget comes in. It does.
It does. But, stuff that hits miscellaneous. Let's say toilet paper. That's going to go to miscellaneous. Diapers. That's going to go to miscellaneous.
But I also try to catch these on sale, and we try to watch the sales.
But, that's like some of
the basics.
Like what we use miscellaneous for. It's your random Walmart trip, anything that you don't buy that's groceries.
And that doesn't work for a lot of people.
It doesn't.
But it does. This has been so much better for us because what was happening was we were just getting overwhelmed with categories.
Yep.
We were getting so overwhelmed with categories because we'd have a household item category. We'd have this category. Even having a category for stockpile and grocery became too much. Now what I would probably do is have Erin make notations in there, like a comment, like $30 of this is stockpile and $100 this month was stockpile. So we know when we go back and look, we can calculate how much was stockpile, which my goal is $100 every month. It's not going to be that every single month, but that's my goal, to set aside $100 for stockpile, $200 for our grocery needs for the month.
But it's too hard to set a budget based off the seasons because
it is.
I mean,
even a month. I hear that a lot, and I'm just thinking, man, a lot of people don't have time for this. Like I do, like I want to check in, I want to look at it, I want to see where we are, but I don't want to have to go through a line item every single thing I want. I just don't want that personally. I don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I could think it would even be possible is summer and winter together, because you're going to have higher electric, for example, those months, or you've got vacation and holidays that sort of offset, and then spring and fall would, that's the only way I could see it would even work.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, do you need a budget refresh? I would say for us, when we go into budget refresh mode, it is in November or December. We start looking at the budget super hard.
Next year.
And we will definitely do videos on how we go through this, what we're looking at. Do we need to make changes? Don't we need to make changes? But we'll also, during our budget meetings, if we feel like we need to make a change, we'll make a change then as well.
Right. I mean, it could be, hey, we need to cut this, or hey, we need a new line here to add something. Those type of things would be something we would discuss, for example, in those weekly meetings.
Absolutely. So this has worked really well for us. It has definitely taken the complication out of it. We just like to focus on this as simple as possible. And for us, doing it on an annual basis, not on a monthly or seasonal, with spring coming, we thought this was a good time to talk about this, because a lot of people's electric bills are going to go down. So that would be a budget line item. You're going to have garden food come in, so you're going to be like, oh, well, I won't need to buy, $30 extra. It's just, we're nitpicking. And I would rather see that margin built up.
Yeah, I agree.
And you can make a notation like, oh, this is why it was cheaper this month, versus having to sit down and have to do a set budget. Even if it just takes 20 to 30 minutes, it's just still too much for me. It would take us more than 20 or 30 minutes to set a new budget every month.
It would, because we'd overanalyze it.
We would. If you're an overanalyzer, just having an annual set budget works for you, because it just, you have it, you know it, and you just stick to it. And I can say, since our changes happened in January, we have been we've had this very...
We've been probably the best ever about maintaining our budget, being more conscious about it with one income now as well.
More conscious, maintaining, just being very focused on what we're spending, getting that into the spreadsheet immediately. Nothing sits, and just really on top of it. So it's definitely helped us. We were really good at it before, but we've gotten like 1,000 times better.
Right. Well, if you've got any comments, suggestions, anything, leave those below in the comments, or send them to thecannykouple@yahoo.com. And make sure to go over and check out our link tree. And if you're on TikTok, we'd really appreciate a like and follow over there as well. And
as always, thank you for joining us on The Canny Couple, where we work hard, live simple, and enjoy life.
Have a wonderful day.